The steam curled like a lover's whisper from the cracked bathroom door, carrying the faint scent of cedar soap and something far more dangerous: raw, unfiltered want. Alex Rivera gripped the kitchen counter, his knuckles whitening as he stared down the hallway, heart slamming against his ribs like a trapped bird. He should have said no, should have laughed it off as a joke from the burly contractor who'd been tearing up his backyard for weeks. But Jordan Hayes had that gravelly voice, those calloused hands that fixed more than just fences, and now, in the humid haze of Alex's own home, everything teetered on the edge of ruin. It had started innocently enough, or so Alex told himself in the sleepless nights that followed. Seattle's relentless autumn rain had turned his modest craftsman bungalow into a soggy mess, the kind of deluge that seeped through cracks you didn't know existed until your socks were perpetually damp. At 28, Alex was supposed to have it all figured out, fresh out of a soul-crushing breakup with his college sweetheart, who decided their 5 years together were just a phase after coming out to his conservative family. The house, inherited from his abuela in a quiet suburb south of the city, was meant to be his sanctuary, a place to rebuild blueprints for a life that didn't include hiding who he was. But renovations don't wait for emotional clarity, and that's when Jordan showed up, toolbox in hand, quoting a price that made Alex's architect's eye twitch with both skepticism and reluctant admiration. Jordan Hayes was 35, built like the oak trees he felled for a living, solid, unyielding, with a Midwestern drawl that rolled off his tongue like honey over gravel. He'd left Ohio after his own ghosts, a divorce from high school sweetheart who couldn't handle the whispers in their small town when Jordan finally admitted he swung both ways. Now he poured that restless energy into contracts across the Pacific Northwest, fixing what others broke. Their first meeting was all business. Alex in his crisp button-down, sketching deck extensions on a notepad, Jordan in mud-caked boots, measuring tape snapping like a challenge. "This place has good bones," Jordan had said, his blue eyes lingering a beat too long on Alex's sketch, or maybe it was Alex himself. Hard to tell under the fluorescent glare of the porch light. Weeks blurred into a rhythm of sawdust and stolen glances. Jordan's crew came and went, but he always lingered, cracking jokes about the rain being God's way of keeping us honest while hammering posts into the earth. Alex found excuses to hover, bringing coffee in thermoses, asking about load-bearing walls he already knew the answer to. There was a spark, undeniable like static before storm. Jordan's laugh boomed through the yard, deep and unpretentious, cutting through Alex's guarded silences. One afternoon, as they pored over stain samples on the half-built deck, Jordan's hand brushed Alex's. Accidental, or so it seemed, and the air thickened. "You got steady hands for an artist," Jordan murmured, his thumb grazing the edge of Alex's palm. Alex pulled away, cheeks burning, muttering about deadlines. But that night, alone in his bed, the sheets twisted around him, he replayed it, wondering what those hands could build if given free rein. The rain that day was biblical, sheets of it slashing sideways, turning the worksite into a mud pit. Jordan's truck sputtered to life just as Alex pulled into the driveway, groceries sodden in his arms. "Crew bailed," Jordan called over the roar, wiping rain from his brow as he slogged toward the house. "But I can knock out the railing solo if you don't mind me tracking in." Alex waved him inside, pulse quickening at the proximity, the way Jordan filled the doorway like he belonged there. They worked in companionable silence at first, Jordan sanding edges in the garage, Alex sorting mail at the kitchen island. Then, the thunder cracked, lights flickering, and Jordan straightened, shirt plastered to his chest, outlining every ridge of muscle earned from years of labor. "Mind if I use the shower?" Jordan asked, casual as ordering takeout, but his eyes held that glint, the one that said he knew exactly what he was doing. Alex's mouth went dry. The guest bath was down the hall, towels stacked neat in the linen closet. "Yeah, sure. Clean ones are," but Jordan was already moving, peeling off his soaked flannel, revealing an undershirt clinging like a second skin. Alex turned away, busying himself with the kettle, but the creak of floorboards drew him back. The door to the bathroom stood ajar, steam billowing out like an invitation, and through the fog glass of the shower enclosure, Alex caught a glimpse, broad back turned, water cascading over shoulders marked with faint scars from old falls, the curve of hip where towel would hang if he bothered with one. He should have closed it, walked away, but Alex's feet carried him forward, drawn by the pull of what-ifs he'd buried since his ex's goodbye. Jordan turned then, slow, deliberate, water sluicing down his chest, meeting Alex's stare without a flinch. "Doors open," Jordan said, voice low over the spray, a smirk tugging his lips. "Figured you'd appreciate the view." The words hung, heavy with intent, and Alex's world tilted. He crossed the threshold before reason could catch up, the humid air wrapping around him like surrender. Their first kiss was a collision, wet, urgent, Jordan's hands framing Alex's face as if he'd been mapping this moment in his mind for weeks. Alex tasted rain and salt, felt the rough scrape of stubble against his jaw, and something inside him cracked open, spilling years of caution into the steam. They didn't make it back to the bedroom. The bath mat became their makeshift altar, towels discarded like old blueprints. Jordan was patient at first, exploring with the same precision he used on joists, fingers tracing collarbones, lips mapping the hollow of Alex's throat. But urgency built, a crescendo of gasps and grips, until Alex was arching under him, whispering pleas he hadn't voiced since college dorms. It was messy, real, the kind of release that left bruises in the best way. Afterward, they lay tangled on the cool tile, breaths sinking in the quiet patter of rain outside. Jordan's arm draped heavy across Alex's waist, his voice a rumble against damp skin. Been wanting that since day one, city boy. Alex laughed, shaky, tracing the tattoo on Jordan's forearm. A compass rose, inked in faded blues. Me too, but my life's a wreck right now. The words slipped out unbidden, pulling them into confessions under the fluorescent hum. Alex spoke of his ex, the family fallout, the fear that love for men like him always came with fine print. Jordan shared fragments of his own. Nights in Ohio bars, hiding kisses in truck cabs, the divorce papers that freed him but left scars. We're both fixers, Jordan said, pressing a kiss to Alex's temple. Maybe we fix each other. But dawn brought reality crashing back. Jordan dressed in the gray light, boots thudding soft on the hardwood. Gotta wrap the deck today. Dinner after? Alex nodded, watching him go, the house feeling emptier than before. Work pulled them apart. Alex's firm demanding late nights on a high-rise bid. Jordan's crew chasing deadlines before winter froze the ground. Texts bridged the gap. Jordan's photos of progress shots. Alex's memes about caffeine addictions. Their second night together was slower, in Alex's bed this time, candlelight flickering over shared stories until sleep claimed them, limbs entwined like roots. It was too good, too fast, and Seattle skies mirrored the storm brewing. 2 weeks in, Alex's phone buzzed during a client lunch. A block number, voice distorted. He's using you. Like the last one. His ex, Marcus, the golden boy who'd shattered him. Back from New York with a vendetta. The messages escalated. Photos of Alex's house, timestamps matching Jordan's visits. Paranoia seeped in, turning every shadow into suspicion. Was Jordan too perfect? The open door, the easy charm, had all been a game? He confronted Jordan that evening, rain lashing the windows as they stood in the kitchen. Is this real, or just some contractor perk? Jordan's face hardened, hurt flashing in those blue eyes. You think I play you? After everything. The argument exploded, words like shrapnel, accusations flying. Jordan stormed out, truck tires spinning mud, leaving Alex with the echo of slammed doors and a heart raw as exposed wiring. Days stretched into silence, the deck half finished, a skeletal reminder of what they'd built. Alex threw himself into work, blueprints blurring through tears he wouldn't name. Then, the accident. Jordan's crew rigging a scaffold wrong, a beam giving way mid-morning. Calls flooded Alex's phone. Hospital, broken ribs, internal bleeding. He drove like hell through the downpour, bursting into the ER white-knuckled and wild-eyed. Jordan looked small in the bed, monitors beeping steady, bruises blooming purple across his chest. Knew you'd come, he rasped, hand-reaching. Alex collapsed into the chair, gripping tight. Don't you dare leave me hanging like that, Deck. Laughter choked into sobs, truths spilling again. This time about Marcus's threats, the fear that clawed at Alex's edges. Jordan listened, thumb stroking his knuckles. We'll face it together. No more half-built anything. Recovery was a grind, Jordan bunking at Alex's under doctor's orders, their days a haze of pain meds and takeout. Marcus's harassment peaked. A brick through the living room window, note attached, end it or else. Police reports filed, restraining orders drafted, but the threat lingered like damp rot. One night, as thunder rattled the panes, Jordan pulled Alex close on the couch. I love you, he said simply, the words landing like sunlight after endless gray. Alex's response was a fierce kiss, bodies moving with the storm's rhythm, reaffirming what words alone couldn't hold. They fortified the house, deadbolts, cameras, Jordan teaching Alex self-defense, moves between kisses. Marcus showed up once, face twisted in the porch light, but Jordan stood firm, a wall of quiet strength. Walk away, man. He's chosen. The cops hauled him off, charges sticking this time. In the aftermath, Alex felt the weight lift, replaced by a lightness he'd forgotten. Love not as a battlefield, but a home. Winter thawed into spring, the deck complete under blooming dogwoods. They hosted a barbecue, friends from Alex's firm mingling with Jordan's crew, laughter drowning old ghosts. As dusk fell, they slipped away to the railing, hands laced, watching fireflies dance. We made it, Alex whispered, head on Jordan's shoulder. Jordan turned, eyes soft. Yeah, and it's just the foundation. In that moment, under the vast Pacific sky, Alex understood. Love wasn't about perfect blueprints or closed doors. It was the courage to leave one ajar, to step through the steam into whatever waited beyond, flawed, fierce, and utterly alive. The barbecue lingered in Alex's veins like a good wine, warm and heady, but the real afterglow came later, in the quiet hours when the guests had gone and the yard lights hummed soft. Jordan pulled him onto the new deck, though it's still smelling of varnish and promise, and they sat with legs dangling over the edge, beers sweating in their hands. "Remember that first rain?" Jordan asked, his voice a low drawl that still sent shivers down Alex's spine. Alex nodded, leaning into the solid warmth of Jordan's side. "How could I forget? You turned my bathroom into a crime scene." Jordan chuckled, the sound vibrating through them both. "Best mistake I never regretted." But regrets had a way of circling back, sneaky as Seattle fog. Marcus's arrest bought peace, but the trial loomed like a thunderhead. Depositions, lawyers in starched suits, the ugly unraveling of private pains in a public courtroom. Alex testified first, voice steady as he recounted the threats, the brick, the way Marcus's love had twisted into control. Jordan sat in the back row, flannel traded for a button-down that strained at the shoulders. His presence at anchor Alex could feel across the room. When it was Jordan's turn, he spoke plain, no frills. The harassment spilling on his job site, the crew spooked, the way it tested the fragile thing they'd just begun. The judge's gavel fell, restraining order upheld, probation with therapy mandated, and outside, under a rare burst of sun, they embraced, the world sharpening into focus. Life resumed its patchwork rhythm. Alex's firm landed the high-rise bid, a gleaming tower downtown that promised promotions and pressure in equal measure. Jordan expanded his business, taking on eco-friendly builds, solar panels, reclaimed wood, his passion for sustainability mirroring the way he pieced Alex back together, one careful layer at a time. Evenings were theirs, cooking paella from Alex's abuela's recipe, Jordan's broad hands chopping onions with surprising finesse, or hikes in the Olympics, where they'd collapse at overlooks, breathless from trails and each other. Yet beneath the idol, fissures formed. Alex's family, scattered across California, had been radio silent since the breakup, his parents' Catholic guilt clashing with his truth. A holiday card arrived, unsigned, with a check and a note. "We pray for your happiness." It stung, a paper cut to the soul. Jordan found him staring at it one December morning, snow dusting the evergreens outside. "Call them," Jordan urged, pouring coffee strong as his resolve. "Not for them, for you." Alex dialed, heart in his throat, the line crackling with years of unsaid. His mother's voice trembled. "Mijo, we've been waiting." Tears flowed, apologies traded like fragile gifts, and by New Year's, they visited, awkward at first, Jordan's easy charm thawing the ice over tamales and stories. Spring brought bloom and bloom again. Jordan proposed on the deck at dawn, rings simple, a hammered silver band etched with coordinates of their first kiss. Alex said yes with a laugh that turned to moans as they tumbled inside, celebrating in the sunlight spilling through blinds. Wedding plans wove through their days, small, intimate, under a canopy of lights strung like stars. But drama shadowed even joy. Jordan's ex, long buried in Ohio, surfaced via email. Custody whispers about a son from a fling, threats of dragging old secrets into the light. "He's bluffing," Jordan insisted, but doubt crept in, nights where Alex woke to him pacing, ghosts from cornfields haunting blue eyes. They confronted it head-on, driving cross-country to Ohio in Jordan's truck, rain giving way to flatlands that stretched like regrets. The ex-Tara met them in a diner off I-80, face lined with time, a teenage boy at her side, tall, awkward, with Jordan's jawline. "He's yours if you want," she said, voice brittle. "But don't wreck him like you wrecked us." The boy, Ethan, eyed Jordan warily, then softened over burgers, questions tumbling. "You build houses? Cool." Fatherhood cracked Jordan open, raw and real. Late-night calls, visits planned, a bridge built from fragments. Back in Seattle, the wedding day dawned crisp, Puget Sound glittering like shattered glass. Alex stood in the garden, abuela's lace at his cuff, nerves electric. Jordan appeared at the aisle's end, in a suit that hugged him just right, eyes locked on Alex like he was the only blueprint that mattered. Vows exchanged under vows of friends and family. Alex's parents in the front row, beaming through tears. Ethan's video call flickering on a tablet, thumbs up from halfway across the country. "I choose you," Jordan said, rings sliding home. Every open door, every storm. The kiss sealed it, cheers erupting as rain held its breath. Honeymoon in the San Juans. Cabins by the sea, kayaks slicing waves, nights where bodies spoke what words couldn't. But thriller lurked even in paradise. A storm surge flooding the dock, stranding them. Or was it fate's last test? They laughed through it, sodden and alive, Jordan's arms a harbor. Returning, life layered on, Ethan's summer visits, teaching him hammer swings and heartbreak hymns. Alex's promotion, late nights balanced by Jordan's packed lunches. One evening, as autumn leaves turned, they sat on the deck, now weathered just enough to feel earned. Ethan between them, sketching forts. "Family's not blood," Jordan murmured, hand on Alex's knee. "It's the ones who stay." Alex nodded, throat tight, the value of it all crystallizing. Love as verb, as choice, as the door left ajar for light to flood in. Years folded like well-worn maps. each crease a story etched deeper. 5 years married, and the deck bore witness to it all. Birthday barbecues, Ethan's high school graduation toast, the quiet anniversaries where they'd dance slow under string lights to old Motown. Alex's firm had ballooned, his designs dotting the skyline, but success came barbed. A junior partner, slick and ambitious, sniffing too close, whispers of affairs that echoed Marcus's shadow. Jordan trusted, but the old Midwestern wariness flared. Nights where he'd work late on a remote site, truck idling longer than needed. The call came on a Tuesday. Routine turned nightmare. Mr. Hayes, your son's been in an accident. Ethan, 18 now, home from college for break, car hydroplaning on black ice near Tacoma. Alex drove, Jordan white-knuckled beside him, hospital lights blurring into halos. Ethan lay pale, leg in traction, ribs cracked, but alive, miracle wrapped in morphine haze. Dad, he rasped to Jordan, then to Alex. Pops, the word a gift they'd earned through bleachers and bad dates. Recovery bound them tighter. Jordan's vigils at the bedside, Alex juggling depositions and Jell-O runs, Ethan cracking jokes to mask fear. Healing unearthed buried veins. Ethan confessed over hospital Jell-O. I think I'm bi. Like you, Dad. Jordan's face crumpled, pride and pain mingling. Son, that's not a think, it's you. And we're here. Alex watched, heart swelling, the humanistic thread pulling taut. Acceptance not inherited, but chosen, passed like a torch in the dark. But external gales howled. The junior partner escalated, emails turning lewd, a hand lingering too long at the office party. Alex reported it, HR dragging feet. The firm's old boys club closing ranks. Jordan seethed, fists clenched at dinner. Quit. We don't need it. But pride held Alex fast. This is my fight too. The climax brewed slow, then erupted. A client gala, black ties and champagne flutes. Alex cornered in a coat room by the partner, breath hot with entitlement. Come on, Rivera, loosen up. Alex shoved him back, voice steel. Touch me again, and you'll rebuild your career from the ground up. Security hauled the man away, but fallout reigned, slander in boardrooms. Alex's designs shelved. Jordan found him later, slumped on the deck in the drizzle, rain mingling with tears. You're enough, Jordan growled, pulling him up, their kiss fierce against the storm. Always were. They pivoted. Alex launched his own studio, boutique and bold, clients flocking to his vision. Sustainable lofts for queer youth shelters, homes with rooms for chosen families. Jordan mentored Ethan through engineering classes, their bond a quiet force. But romance reignited in embers. A weekend getaway to the Hoh rainforest, moss-draped trees whispering secrets, where they hiked hand in hand, shedding stresses like wet leaves. That night, in a tent pitched by a stream, Jordan's hands rediscovered Alex, slow, reverent, mapping scars and smiles. Still gets me. Jordan breathed, bodies sinking like tides. Alex arched, whispering, forever open door. Ethan's coming out rippled wider. Family dinner, his mom's blessing, but school friends turning cold. Jordan and Alex stood sentinel, pride flags in the yard, calls to counselors, stories shared over late-night ice cream. Love's the bravest build, Jordan told him, and Ethan nodded, eyes bright. The trial for the partner dragged, but justice landed. A settlement, public apology, Alex's name cleared. In the courtroom hush, Jordan's hand it felt like victory. Summer solstice brought full circle, a deck party under midsummer sun. Ethan grilling with a boyfriend in tow, nervous, sweet, hands brushing like tentative blueprints. Alex watched Jordan laugh, lines crinkling his eyes, and felt the drama's arc bend toward light. Later, alone on the railing, Jordan pulled a small box from his pocket. Not a ring, but keys. Expansion plans, he said, grin wicked. Baby room. Alex's breath caught. Dreams they'd whispered now tangible. Tears pricked. Yes. God, yes. As fireflies rose, the family wove tighter, flawed threads in a tapestry of grace. Love, Alex realized, wasn't the absence of storms, but dancing in them, doors flung wide to whatever wild, wondrous weather blew through. The nursery took shape like a promise kept, walls painted sage green, crib assembled under Jordan's steady hands while Alex hovered, tape measure in one fist, ultrasound photo in the other. Adoption papers signed months back, the agency calling with a match. A newborn boy, surrendered in Portland, tiny fists curled like questions waiting answers. They named him Mateo, after Alex's abuelo, his cries filling the house that first night, a symphony of terror and triumph. Jordan paced the rocker, burping him with the same patience he'd used on splintered beams, while Alex collapsed beside, exhaustion etching joy into his bones. Parenting was no blueprint, chaos in diapers and midnight feeds. Ethan stepped up, uncle at 21, teaching Mateo truck sounds during visits, his own life blooming. Internship in green tech, boyfriend solid as Seattle bedrock. But shadows slunk in. Jordan's back, strained from sightfall, flared chronic, pills rattling in drawers he swore off. Can't be weak now, he'd mutter, pushing through pain that hollowed his eyes. Alex noticed, confronting over breakfast, Mateo, gurgling oblivious. Week's not asking for help. It's pretending. Therapy followed, reluctant at first, Jordan's drawl clashing with the counselor's calm. But sessions unearthed Ohio roots, the stoicism that armored and isolated. Drama crested unbidden. A rival contractor, bitter from a lost bid, sabotaged Jordan's latest project, a community center for LGBTQ plus elders. Beams tampered, collapse narrowly averted. Sirens wailed, investigations dragged. The man's face on news feeds sneering denials. Jordan testified, voice thunder. This ain't about wood and nails, it's about safe spaces we build for our own. The courtroom echo of his words lingered, charges sticking, but the delay cost. Funds dried, crew demoralized. Alex rallied. Crowdfunding campaigns sketched on napkins, firm connections leveraged for pro bono designs. We're in this, he said, kissing Jordan fierce amid the rubble. Doors open, remember? Rebuild became ritual. Weekends hauling lumber. Mateo in a carrier strapped to Alex's chest, cooing at sawdust moats. The center rose stronger. Rain gardens, accessible ramps, a library stocked with stories of survival. Opening day dawned bright. Elders gathering under the archway, canes tapping thanks. One woman, silver-haired and sharp-eyed, clasped Jordan's hand. You gave us walls that hold. Tears pricked. Alex squeezed his husband's waist, the humanistic pulse thrumming. Structures not just shelter, but sanctuaries for souls long adrift. Romance wove through the weave. Date nights stolen, babysitters enlisted, dinners at hole-in-the-wall Ticarius where Jordan's foot hooked Alex's under tables, eyes promising later. One anniversary, they escaped to the cabin, Mateo with Ethan's crew, and rediscovered the wildness. Hikes turning heated, pressed against pines, Jordan's growl against his neck. Missed this fire. Alex gasped, nails digging. Always burning for you. It was raw, reclaiming, the bed creaking under years of love's weight. But thriller threaded peril. Anonymous letters arrived at the center, slurs scrawled in venom, threats veiled as warnings. Your kind doesn't last. Police involved, patrols increased, but fear gnawed. Jordan checking locks thrice, Alex waking to shadows. Ethan, protective, installed cams, his tech savvy a shield. Culmination came stormy. A figure in hood at midnight, torch in hand. Jordan spotted him from the window, tackling into mud, fists flying until sirens split the night. The arsonist, a disgruntled local, bigotry his fuel, cuffed and carded, confessions spilling hate's hollow core. Aftermath healed slow. Counseling for the sinner's flock, community vigils flickering defiant. Jordan and Alex held a family meeting, Mateo on the rug stacking blocks, Ethan videoed in. We don't hide, Jordan said, voice steady. We build louder. Nods rippled, resolve hardening like mortar. Mateo toddled to Alex, chubby hand extended, a toy hammer, pint-sized power. Laughter broke tension, the room alight with what mattered. Kin chosen, love, unyielding. Fall turned leaves to gold. The deck a stage for Mateo's first steps. Wobbly toward Jordan's open arms. Alex capturing on film, heart full to bursting. Our foundation, he whispered, and Jordan pulled him close, baby between, the world righted in that embrace. Value gleamed. In every crack mended, every door flung, life proved not a solo sketch, but shared masterpiece, dramatic, enduring, eternally open. Mateo's laughter echoed through the house like sunlight, fracturing prisms, a 3-year-old tornado of curls and curiosity, demanding up, pops, with arms outstretched. Alex hoisted him, nuzzling the soft spot behind his ear that smelled of baby shampoo and endless possibility, while Jordan flipped pancakes in the kitchen, apron tied loose over jeans worn soft from years of wear. Mornings like this were sacraments, coffee steaming, Ethan FaceTiming from his Seattle apartment, sharing dorm war stories from his grad program in sustainable architecture. Uncle E's got a date tonight, he'd tease, and Mateo would clap, oblivious to the undercurrent of pride in their eyes. Another generation stepping bold. But beneath the domestic hum, undercurrents stirred. Alex's studio thrived, commissions pouring in, affordable housing pods for unhoused queer youth, each designed a defiance of the system's cracks. Jordan's firm mirrored it, partnering on builds that wove community threads, tiny home villages, elder co-ops. Success bred envy, though, a new client for Alex, charismatic developer with eyes that lingered, propositions veiled as praise. You're wasted on non-profits, he'd say over lunches, hand brushing Alex's on the menu. Alex rebuffed, but doubt whispered. Was loyalty a chain? Jordan sensed the shift, tension coiling in quiet dinners. His questions gentle probes. Rough day? Alex deflected, burying in blueprints, until a late night found him staring at the ceiling, Jordan's breathing even beside. Talk, Jordan murmured, hand finding his in the dark. Confessions tumbled. The flirtations, the flattery's lure, the fear that time might dull their edge. Jordan listened, thumb circling soothing. We're not static, Alex. We evolve together. Dawn brought vulnerability's gift, A couple's retreat booked, just them, in the Cascades, cabins with hot tubs, trails for unraveling. The drive wound through evergreens, radio humming classics, hands laced over the console. Check-in was a blur, but the first hike cracked them open. Summit views vast, breaths shared in the thin air. Remember Ohio? Jordan asked, back against a boulder, pulling Alex down. Thought I'd never find this. Alex straddled him, kissed deepening with mountain wind. Found you anyway. That night, fire crackling, wine loosening tongues, they mapped futures. Mateo's school, Ethan's wedding someday, their own silver years on this deck. Bodies followed words, slow burn to inferno. Jordan's hands reverent on Alex's skin, gasps echoing off logs. Mine. Always. Return brought reinvigoration, but fate twisted the knife. A storm, literal and literary, barreled in. Hurricane-force winds off the Pacific, tearing roofs, flooding basements. Jordan's crew mobilized. Emergency repairs across the county, days blurring into nights of chainsaws and generators. Alex joined, studio on hold, hauling supplies with Mateo at a sitter's. One gale-lashed evening, Jordan's truck vanished into the squall for a widow's roof in the hills. Hours passed. Radio static. Then the call. Wreck, ravine, medevac. Alex's world funneled to tunnel vision, driving to the ER with heart in throat, rain sheeting wipers blind. Jordan emerged from surgery. Concussion, fractured wrist, but whole. Pale against starched sheets. Slippery bastard, he joked, voice slurry from meds. Alex gripped his good hand, tears hot. Don't scare me like that. Vigil held. Mateo brought in a tiny backpack, climbing bed rails with kisses. Ethan driving through floodwaters, bare hugs exchanged. Recovery was symphony of smalls. Cass signed with Mateo's crayons. Alex feeding Jordan soup with exaggerated airplane noises. Laughter healing faster than bone. Yet thriller escalated. The widow's son, grief-twisted, blamed Jordan's rush job. Lawsuit papers slapping down days later. Court loomed again, depositions dredging the storm's chaos, accusations flying like debris. Jordan's eyes darkened, old insecurities surfacing. Maybe I am slipping. Alex rallied. Expert witnesses from the crew, weather logs proving Fury's hand. In the hearing, Jordan testified raw. I'd build to hold. Against winds, against whatever breaks us. The judge dismissed, but the toll lingered. Jordan's back flaring anew. Therapy resuming with gritted teeth. Romance rekindled in resilience. Anniversary under stars, decks strung with lanterns. Mateo, asleep inside. Jordan slow-danced Alex close. Cast awkward, but endearing. 10 years. Feels like yesterday's rain. Alex melted, lips brushing. And tomorrow's sun. They made love soft that night. Exploratory around bandages. Whispers of forever sealing wounds. Ethan's milestone anchored them. Graduation ceremony, cap toss in the quad, boyfriend at his side. Now fiancé, rings glinting. Toast at the reception. To doors left open, and the men who walked through. Tears flowed, family whole. Alex's parents toasting in Spanish. Tara flown in with stories of Ethan's boyhood. Mateo, flower boy in training, toddled through dances, the circle complete. As leaves fell, Alex watched Jordan tuck Mateo in, storybook voice rumbling low, and felt the arc's grace. Drama not destroyer, but forge, hammering hearts into something unbreakable, humane, eternally entwined. Mateo's 4th birthday dawned with balloons bobbing like dreams. The deck transformed into a pirate ship playground. Cannon from cardboard, sails from old sheets. Jordan captaining with a foam sword and eye patch that made his scowl comically fierce. Alex manned the grill, flipping burgers amid squeals. Ethan's fiancée, snapping photos, the air thick with charcoal and joy. But beneath the festivity, a quiet undercurrent hummed. Jordan's wrist healed, but his spirit bore faint fractures. The lawsuits echo, making him second-guess bids. Nights where he'd stare at blueprints till dawn. Alex countered with intention. Surprise weekends, picnics in Discovery Park where Mateo chased gulls, and they'd steal moments on blankets. Jordan's head in Alex's lap, fingers combing sandy hair. You're my north, Alex murmured once, tracing the compass tattoo, faded but fierce. Jordan's eyes softened, pulling him down for a kiss salted by sea. And you're the pole. Intimacy deepened, not just bodies but souls. Therapy sessions shared, vulnerabilities voiced over wine, building intimacy brick by emotional brick. Thrill intruded sharp. A client for Alex's studio, nonprofit for trans elders, vandalized overnight. Windows smashed, slurs spray-painted in red rage. News crews swarmed, headlines screaming hate's resurgence. Jordan arrived at dawn, crew trucks idling, sleeves rolled for cleanup. Not on our watch, he growled, paint rollers flying like flags of defiance. Alex joined, Mateo, safe with sitters, the pair shoulder to shoulder, scrubbing venom away. But the culprit circled, a local zealot, face familiar from protests, caught on cam, slinking back for round 2. Stake spiked, police stakeout, Jordan volunteering night watch, rifle locked but resolve unlocked. Midnight found Alex pacing home, phone clutched, until the call, scuffle, arrest, the man tackled in gravel. Jordan's fist bloodied, but victory sweet. Got him, Jordan said, voice adrenaline shaky. Alex met him at the station, hugging through bars of fear. Hero. Charges piled, hate crime enhancements, community service mandated for the bigots' education. Afterglow was galvanizing. The studio's project relaunched bigger. Gala fundraiser packed with donors. Alex's speech electric. Hate breaks windows, but love rebuilds worlds. Jordan stood beaming, hand at his back. The crowd's applause a wave crashing home. Romance followed. Getaway to wine country. California hills rolling gold. Mateo with grandparents. Vineyards strolled hand in hand. Tastings turning tipsy. Hotel sheets tangled with laughter and lust. Jordan's mouth mapping Alex's collarbone. Slow and sure. Every vintage better with you. Alex arched, breath hitching. Age to perfection. Ethan's wedding brewed, joy's storm. Vineyard venue. Alex walking him down the aisle. Jordan best man with toast that cracked the room. Stories of trucks and truths. Love's long haul. Mateo, ring bearer in tiny tucks, scattering petals with gusto. The vows a mirror to their own, through every weather. Reception danced late, family fused. Alex's abuela, frail but fierce, toasting in Spanglish. Tara sharing dances with Ethan's in-laws. But personal tempest brewed. Jordan's doc flagged the back pain. Scan showing disc wear, surgery looming. Pinched nerve from years of hauling. The specialist said, options stark. Jordan balked, stoic mask cracking, can't down tools. Alex held the line, tools wait. You don't. Prep was ordeal, pre-op jitters, Mateo's confusion at daddy's OE. Ethan flying in for support. Surgery day, Alex waited alone, coffee cold, until the door swung. Success, Jordan groggy but grinning. Feels lighter already. Recovery tested tenderness. Jordan sidelined, crutches clacking, Alex balancing studio and caregiving. Meals pureed, baths shared with sponge and steam, moments turning intimate anew. One evening, as rain pattered, Jordan pulled Alex into bed, crutches aside. Missed holding you proper. Hands roamed gentle, kisses building to size, reaffirming connection beyond flesh. Love as care, as presence. Fall harvest brought harvest home. Mateo's preschool play, pirate again, Jordan cheering loudest from front row. Post-show ice cream. Family clustered. Alex caught Jordan's eye across the booth, the glance saying all. Through gales and glories, we choose this. Humanism hummed. In every mend, every stand, life wove worth from warp and weft. Doors not just open, but revolving with grace. The surgery's silver lining gleamed in Jordan's stride. Crutches ditched by spring, back unbowed. A second wind fueling boulder bids. Eco-villages on Vashon Island. Homes huddled like hands in prayer. Alex's studio synced, designing interiors alive with light. Murals by local queer artists, kitchens for communal feasts. Mateo thrived in preschool, alphabet pirate songs as anthem, while Ethan and his husband settled nearby, nursery plans mirroring their own. Family dinners weekly, tables groaning under potlucks. Alex's carnitas, Jordan's chili simmered slow, laughter layering like lacquer. Yet drama danced eternal. A land dispute for Jordan's village, neighbors NIMBY, petitions circling with cries of changing the character. Town halls turned battlegrounds, voices raised, Jordan at the mic calm as steel. Characters people, not picket fences. This is homes for the forgotten. Alex backed him, petitions countered with testimonials, trans families, elders exiled, voices amplifying. The vote swung narrow, victory Pyrrhic but pure, groundbreaking under blue skies. Mateo scattering dirt with a shovel too big. Romance ripened. Their 15th anniversary, deck reborn with solar lights, a string quartet, violinist a studio client, serenading as Jordan knelt, not with ring but vow renewal scrolls, handwritten promises, through rebuilt roofs and broken beams. I choose you. Alex's yes dissolved in tears, kiss sealing under stars, guests fading as they slipped inside, love making a symphony. Jordan's body strong again, thrust deep with decades' depth, Alex's cries muffled in pillows, eternal. Thriller's final twist uncoiled subtle. An old flame of Jordan's from Ohio wanderings emailed, photos attached, claims of unfinished business, a daughter unknown, 16 now, seeking roots. Shock rippled. DNA test expedited, truth confirmed. Riley arrived, tentative, freckles and fire in her eyes, duffel slung over shoulder. Don't know what I want, she said, but stayed. Weeks unfolding into months, Mateo, her shadow, Ethan, big brothering with playlists and piercings. Integration was art. Family therapy, Tara looped in virtually, boundaries drawn kind. Jordan's heart expanded. Father twice over, bedtime stories now dual. Riley's tales of foster drifts meeting Mateo's pirate yarns. Alex embraced, uncle by choice, teaching her sketches, the studio her haven. But conflict crested. Riley's mom resurfaced, custody whispers turning to demands, courts again, Ohio pulling, Seattle rooting. Hearings hashed histories, Jordan's voice breaking. She's found home. Don't rip it away. Resolution rooted deep. Judge favored stability. Riley, choosing Jordan's arms, the gavel a grace note. Celebration quiet. Pizza on the deck. Riley's laugh mingling with Mateo's, the circle vaccinated. Ethan toasted, to branches grafted strong. Years cascaded. Mateo to kindergarten, backpack sagging with crayons. Riley college-bound, majoring Ian Vyung, Jordan's legacy in her veins. Ethan adopting, playdates with toddlers echoing their start. Alex's designs graced covers. TED Talk on building belonging viral. Jordan beside in the wings. Storms came, health scares minor, losses grieved communal, but each weathered stronger. Twilight found him on the deck, gray threading hair, Mateo, now teen, strumming guitar nearby, Riley video calling from dorms. Jordan's hand in Alex's, weathered but warm, best build we ever did. Alex leaned, kissed soft. Open door policy paid off. Fireflies rose, family orbiting, the story's in not closure, but continuum, dramatic in depths, romantic in rise, meaningful in the mending. Love, the ultimate renovation, leaving no heart unfinished.